This inaugural Football Fridays Overtime, powered by State Champs, is presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Students, take the field. It is still warm, 72 degrees up north in northern Oakland County, but it is a goosebump convention there right now. The words that pop to mind, man, and wow. And maybe sometimes heaven does wink at us from time to time. If ever a group needed a lift, it's the team at Oxford, it's the students at Oxford, it's the parents at Oxford. An emotional evening at Wildcat Stadium, an evening of cheers and tears, and that's part of the reason why we love high school football in the state of Michigan. And with all due respect to every other football highlight that we'll present here tonight, this is the best thing we will have seen when this Football Friday is complete. They couldn't wait to play. Oxford trailed 7-0 early against Birmingham Groves. They took a 10-7 lead. They trailed 14-10, and they won it 17-10, the final. And it continues. The gathering will be in place for a while. No one wants to go home because being together feels so good.
That's right.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Football Fridays Overtime, powered by State Champs. We are thrilled about our new world in high school football coverage, partnering with State Champs, which has provided such great coverage of the kids in all sports for a couple of decades now. He doesn't look it, but Lauren Plant has been the face of State Champs for a good chunk of that time. I'm John Keating. It's great to be with you, and what a start that we had together tonight.
You know, just thinking about Oxford and what they did tonight is so fitting, so appropriate, and I'll tell you what, I am so excited to be here. You know, I had thought, you know, I'm going to use the Godfather 3 quote, you know, just when I thought I was out, you pulled me back in. But you know what? State Champs and Bally Sports together again is incredible, combining forces. And, you know, I can't think of a better way to celebrate State Champs' 20th anniversary than being part of what is going to be all season long, John, the best 1-hour high school highlight show on the planet. So this fall, we're going to go through some of the best highlights and performances around the state. So let's go ahead. Let's give the people what they want. Let's go no huddle, shall we?
All right, let's do that.
Let's do that. All right, everybody. So we're going to start with one of the best nicknames in the state, the Fighting Scots of Caledonia, making the trek all the way from the west side of the state to North Farmington. Quarterback Mason McKenzie, a big run from midfield. Cutting right kid might be playing his way into the Mr. Football race. Caledonia winning big tonight. More on that coming up.
All right, here we go to West Bloomfield. The homestanding Lakers opened our season last Thursday at Wayne State. They won by 40 over Sterling Heights Stevenson. But check out this play by Michigan-bound receiver Samaj Morgan, making the grab and delivering a big hit on the defensive back, worthy of a second look. That young man can play. West Bloomfield rolled tonight over Harper Woods. Full highlights of that game coming up shortly. But the game of the night was in Oxford tonight. There you see the games that are coming up. Just a taste as we have just gotten underway here. A taste of what's to come, and these are the games that we will be presenting the highlights to you of. We'll show you the madness that was Southfield A&T against Clarkston. Well, we'll have the complete story of that game in West Bloomfield against Harper Woods to Farmington, where 6th-ranked Caledonia was playing the Raiders, and 8th-ranked Davison home to Catholic Central, looking to get to 1-1 to start the year.
We are all over the map this week, John. More for everyone to love. Couple of top 20 teams as number 18 Muskegon and number 1 Warren DeLaSalle met at Lawrence Tech. We're repping the west side. The Sailors of Muskegon Mona Shores and number 17 Rockford went dancing. The Ducks of Zeeland West quacked into Cedar Springs. First matchup since 2017. Then we head up north. Sheboygan traveling to beautiful Boyne City.
All right, if you're with us, if you've been with us, you've got some goosebumps. You've done some gulping because it's a terrific story at Oxford. With all due respect to Birmingham Groves, who came in and put on a terrific football show against the Wildcats, but there may have been outside forces at work as Oxford had a chance to play a football game for the first time since that distressing afternoon, November 30th of 2021. Let's get you back to Wildcat Stadium. Mickey York has done a spectacular job putting it all in some perspective for us, along with Natalie Kerwin. He's alongside Rob Rubik and the head coach as well. Mick, it's to you.
John, thank you very much. Well, what a night here in Oxford. And if any team, any school, and any community needed a win, it was here in Oxford tonight. Zach, congratulations. Can you put into some perspective what winning here on this night means to you, to your team, to your entire community?
Yeah, I know coming into this game, this is a team I've been proud to coach. I love these guys, and seeing the stands packed tonight, I'm hoping the fans and the crowd and this team's leaving with a sense of hope that Oxford's tough. We're going to come out and play 4 quarters. We're going to scratch and we're going to claw and we're going to find a way.
I have a football question, Coach. What made you go to Johnson instead of Tabor? Tabor was, the first 2 quarters, so did you have a sense?
We're fortunate we have a lot of good running backs. There was something about the way Luke was running this week. He was running with a purpose that I haven't seen him run before, and I think having a few weeks of varsity football under his belt as a sophomore, he was starting to gain some confidence, especially playing Mike linebacker. I could just tell he was into the game at a different level. So we made the switch, and he was hot, so we stuck with it.
Definitely paid dividends. I mean, your offense seemed to start clicking. He really ran your wide play well. He cuts it back, had a good feel, found the creases.
Yeah, no, we got to give a lot of credit to the guys up front. That was probably the best drive we've had our entire training camp, right? So it just takes a little confidence sometimes. They see it works, and then we just keep feeding it. So this will propel us going forward because now we have some film to show that we can do this. With a young group, you like to see that because they got to feel it and believe it. And now I think we have that.
What did it take for you guys to improve from where you were at this time a week ago?
I think we were probably, as a coaching staff, trying to do too much. You're going into Romeo. They're a good team. Sometimes more is less, right? So we simplified the game plan down a little bit. We got back to the basics and fundamentals that sometimes get lost in the season. And that's kind of where we stayed this week. And communication was good. They do a lot of shifts and motions, as you see on their offensive side. So for a young, again, sophomore linebacker, being able to make all the calls, with some help screaming from the sideline, but it is what it is, right? It takes a village, and I'm proud to be a part of the Oxford Village.
Now, you're going to talk to Dom at all about when he rolls right, throw him back across his body to the left. He's not Drew Brees. Now, you play with Drew Brees. Drew could get away with it. A couple times there, he kind of threw it into harm's way, but he has a feel. Tell me, was that an ad-lib on the touchdown? It looked like you're running the submarine pass.
So that's a slipper play where we're running.
Where he runs the submarine, then he comes up through the middle? That's designed like that?
Yeah, so we have the back and running the shoot route in the flat. Then you have a slide concept where your Y's coming down, picking for the backside slide route. So really we have back, the slide route, and then the pick guy leaks late. So
yeah,
we ended up getting the third option of those.
Well, you probably gave too much information here, but that's all right. Now everyone is going to scout you. They don't have to watch your film. Thanks, Rob.
I told you this before we started this week that our game plan changes week to week. So that play probably won't come up for another 4 or 5 weeks.
It worked well.
But the game plan tonight seemed to just play Oxford football. Knowing about your program, seeing you guys play over the years, hard-nosed, toughness, determination, it just seemed like one of those grind-out typical Oxford football games. Was getting back to your roots a big key for you tonight as well?
I think so. I mean, this is a tough group. You don't want to get too fancy. You don't have to run a bunch of trick plays. You got to let these guys fly around and play football. They feed off that, and then the energy grows, and then basic plays become – just got smacked by a bug. Basic plays become, 10, 15-yard runs. You're just wearing down a team. So, I'm just proud. I'm proud of this group.
Go ahead.
This reminded me of like a Lapeer West game back in the day. The only thing different was there wasn't Prescott line or Zach line carrying the ball 40 times for 300 yards, but someone was calling the plays up there and had to make you proud.
Yeah, we found a formation that was kind of clicking for us. Mm-hmm. So we started playing with a little peel motion, moving them across, ended up in a lot of the same formations. But I'm proud of this group. I love this group. I wouldn't change tonight for the world.
We're going to let you go celebrate in just a moment. With this now behind you and the emotions leading up to this night and the attention that was given to this game, can you exhale a little bit? Does this allow you to now take another step forward? Is there some relief that comes with all of this as well?
I hope so. I would say there's probably more emotion in the Romeo game. It was the first time these guys had played without their buddy that they've had their entire life. Whereas tonight, I felt like it was emotion in a different way. Like they felt power with Tate. They felt power in the family and the group that we had. They've grinded every step of the way. Going back to school, they put back on the pads every step of the way. They've made this community and they've made their coaching staff amazed and proud.
Well, it was amazing to see tonight. I think on behalf of all of us, and no disrespect, of course, to Birmingham Groves, we hope they win the rest of their games this season. But I think everybody was pulling for Oxford.
Yeah, me too.
Tonight.
Birmingham was a great team. Physical.
Zach, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you. I appreciate it, guys.
Right. John, Lauren?
Hey, Mick, before we let you go, you've seen a lot of football. What was it like as a spectator and as, as someone who has covered his share of big-time football games to be there and take in the emotion of a game like this?
Well, and that's what was interesting, because the pregame ceremony, you couldn't hear a pin drop here. And then, eventually it comes time to go out for the coin toss. And it was Buck Muir who turned around to the stands and started raising everybody up, trying to get them into this football game, because there was a game to play, and they needed that emotion. They needed this crowd behind them tonight, and that was kind of the moment where everybody, I think, could exhale and then turn their attention to the football game. And then once it got going, it was very much a typical Friday night here in Oxford, and the emotions of the night, of everything that we felt kind of leading up to it. The thing that really got me the most was seeing Oxford win this football game, and then the student section coming out there to celebrate with their team. I think a fitting end.
Incredible.
To
it truly was
an amazing night here in Oxford, John.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks to Zach Line for hanging around with us, and to Buck Muir as well, and the deft touch, I think, that you provided, Mick, and Rob Rubik and Natalie Kerwin and Johnny Kane as well. Well done by all of you, and well done to the folks and the kids who play at Oxford. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you. All right, we're just getting going here on Football Fridays, powered by overtime, by State Champs, and it's I guess the reminder is that everybody has a huge game that they're playing, and obviously this was the game of the night in the eyes of many of us. But every kid who's putting on a uniform in some corner of the state probably looked at this as the biggest game they would have played, and you've got some of those highlights as well.
Yeah, I mean, how about Zach Line? NFL guy, comes back home. Bud Rowley, an institution at Oxford. He comes back to take over the team. He's doing a tremendous job handling what is an impossible situation. I remember his brother Prescott. He was our 2011 state champs, Mr. Football. So a great tradition in that family, and what an incredible night at Oxford. But we got a lot to get to, John. One of the most anticipated matchups of the night. Number 18, Muskegon, taking the trek to match up with the brand new #1 team in Michigan, Warren DeLaSalle. This, a rematch of the 2006 and 2008 Division II state championships. Muskegon won both of those, but DeLaSalle, the defending Division II champs. Highlights courtesy of the Prep, Evan Stockton on the call.
Here's our first look tonight at one of the better quarterbacks in the Midwest, the future Cincinnati Bearcat Brady Drogosh, who has all the talent in the world. Third down for DeLaSalle, the line to gain just inside the 7. Brady Drogosh brings down the high snap, throwing a fastball down the middle. It's a touchdown for Sharon Sutton. Grip it and rip it, Brady Drogosh, and the sure hands for Sutton for 6. Drogosh fielding the high snap, zipping it out, back in the hands of Sutton. Leaning for that pylon. He's in again. 2 drives, 2 touchdowns. Sharon Sutton. Higgy running right, briefly slowed up, but now he's got daylight. The sprinter for the Big Reds in a foot race. And he wins it. Goodbye, touchdown, Muskegon. Drogosh with a soft roll, and the lob back to a wide open receiver. Caden Campbell was all alone, but they have every single skill player back. Drogosh down the middle, Nichols. Tristan Nichols, you can say goodbye. Touchdown DeLaSalle again. Pardon the pun. These pilots are a jet-powered rocket ship. Already 3 passing touchdowns for Drogosh tonight. Make it 4. Number 2 for Tristan Nichols. How do you stop these pilots?
All right, congratulations to Warren DeLaSalle. You know, we talked a little bit about the state champs Mr. Football Award. Well, you know what? This year marks the 15th annual state champs Mr. Football Award presented by Hungry Howie's. DeLaSalle's Brady Drogosh in the running for the top player in the state in 2022, but he's going to get a run for his money because, like every year, the top 10 stacked with talent, forcing his way onto the list because he was left off on the preseason list. Southfield A&T junior Isaiah Marshall, uncommitted, but now the top junior QB prospect in the nation. I did not stutter. Zeke the Streak, that's my nickname at least. Zeke accounted for 8 scores last week in the 2-day OT saga versus Cass Tech. Not his fault for what happened last night versus Clarkston. He almost played Superman again. You got to see that. There's a tease. Over 550 yards of offense in total, 4 touchdowns, max effort. But another guy that needs to be propped up, and another set of highlights coming up here on the OT. Walled Lake Western's Darius Taylor. I don't have a nickname yet, John.
It's coming. It's
but
coming.
Right now, to borrow another Superman reference, he's a beacon of hope for the Western Warrior faithful. 345 yards, 6 TDs last week's win over South Lyon. Much lower score last night, still carried it 32 times, ran for 187 with 2 scores. The state champs Mr. Football Award presented by Hungry Howie's, the only major award in the state that allows you, the fans, to have a say in who will be Mr. Football. Not a popularity contest, but your vote is a percentage that could be the deciding factor. Vote as much as you like at statechampsnetwork.com. Click on the banner on the homepage and vote at statechampsnetwork.com.
All right, let's jump back into the Bally Sports Ford Crown Victoria and hit the road to Davison High School, not far from Whitey's Restaurant and Takeout and Senior Lucky's. Almost exactly a year ago to the day, the hometown Cardinals and Detroit Catholic Central met. CC taking the first meeting big tonight. They met at the home of the Cardinals, who had a big win in Week 1 against Clarkston. CC trying to bounce back at Davison after they blew a late lead against Chippewa Valley last week. Not a great start for Catholic Central in this one. First play of the game, Davison senior Braylon Heimelin finds Tion Armstrong with a deep bomb down the field. No Shamrocks will catch him. He'll take it to the house. Davison with the early 7-0 lead. CC would respond. Senior running back Evan Hager busting through a few Cardinals defenders, and he takes it right up the middle. We were tied at 7. To the third quarter we go. It's all CC in this one, up 27-14. Here's your dagger. Senior Brady Blakita takes the pass from sophomore Bo Jackson for 75 yards. That makes it 34-14, and they would go on to win by a final of 44-34.
My line played great. My line opened up everything. I just took advantage of it. They deserve the credit, really.
How big a game was this for you guys coming off last week?
It was fun. We just wanted to finish. I mean, that was the goal. We played well against Chip the first half. We just needed to finish the game, and happy we got it done. Really happy we got it done.
All right, next week, CC is home to DeWitt. Davison will head north to play Traverse City, St. Francis, and when they begin traveling to some of the other powers in the state of Michigan, that's when the season gets interesting, and we will only be in week 3 at that point.
Both teams finishing off a 3-game gauntlet. Great competition as both teams get ready for conference play.
All right, if you're on the west side of the state, we'll get to another Muskegon team coming up. Mota Shores and Rockford battling in week 2. We are all over the state of Michigan.
And, of course, we're going to be heading back to the site of the Football Friday Game of the Week, an emotional night up in Oxford. So much more is coming your way.
Wow, what a game last night at Clarkston. Southfield A&T, Southfield High School for the Arts and Technology. And they had the hard artistry working last night. A sensational game for quarterback Isaiah Marshall. He was responsible for 6 touchdowns. You just heard Lauren talk about him. 6 rushing within his 235 yards picked up on the ground against Clarkston. 3 through the air. 23 of 38 for 413 yards passing. And incredibly, that wasn't enough because Clarkston's running back Ethan Clark had 4 touchdowns of his own. The Wolves answered that Southfield could throw at them on the ground, including a 7-yard run from Clarkston quarterback Mike Hine with just 25 seconds left to put Clarkston up 6. Clarkston battled their way to a crazy 62-56 win. Man, that's a basketball score.
Yeah, no doubt.
I don't know. I mean, I thought that was about as good as it gets for a high school football game. Not the way we want to do it on defense, obviously, but when our guys needed stops, I was proud of how we got stops. Whether it was a 2-point conversion that we needed to stop, the big play at the end here by Dez. When we needed stops, we got stops. I'm proud of our effort. I thought we competed the entire game, and that's all I can ask of these guys.
You know, we had a motivation going into this game, especially from last week. We just want to get the job done. We knew we could win these, beat them. We knew we could do that. You know, we had good preparation, and that's what we did today.
That sets up next weekend for us because the featured game on Football Fridays, powered by state champs, will be Clarkston traveling to Rochester Adams. Adams, a state finalist in Division I a year ago. Winner of that game will likely have a beat on the OAA Red Division title. We'll have that game next Friday at 7:30 on Bally Sports Extra and the Bally Sports app.
Well, John, the State Champs Anvil Award is now in its 5th year. This award honors the top lineman or linebacker in the state of Michigan. You see the top 10 stacked with Division I college guys. One guy, of course, in the last highlight package, Cole Dellinger. His team represented. He is of Clarkston. A couple of West Bloomfield Lakers making the list. Amir Herring going to Michigan. Brandon Davis-Swain headed to Notre Dame. Mason Miragan is a Warren DeLaSalle defensive end headed to Illinois. We talked about the Northwestern commit Dylan Senda from Divine Child on the State Champs Extra Point podcast this week. That show premieres Thursday on the State Champs Network website and YouTube page. Find it on the State Champs Michigan Facebook page as well. You can vote in the State Champs Anvil Award race at statechampsnetwork.com. Just click on the banner on the homepage. And one final note as it relates to both the Mr. Football race and the Anvil Award, the leading vote getter can never be removed. Swain, currently the leading vote getter for the Anvil, but it's a long season. As I mentioned, several West Bloomfield Lakers on the list, and their coach had them fired up before their home opener.
You go out there, you go get what you deserve. You earn this, guys. You earn it. Let's go out and have fun. Do it. Let's go, be ready.
Strong words from Coach Grice of West Bloomfield. OAA crossover tonight as the Lakers welcome the newest member of the conference, Harper Woods. Now in the white division, both teams 1-0 coming in. Pick it up in the first. Harper Woods up 7-0. Early senior running back Ralph Rogers comes in motion, gets to the outside and in the end zone, 7-7. That game's tied. Later in the quarter, the littlest guy on the field, junior quarterback Raquel Nance, takes a direct snap, powers in the end zone. His big left tackle, Herring, losing his helmet, blocking for his QB. Lakers up 14-7. Then the Stars coming out to shine. Check out the grab and the hit. Laid not by the defense, but by receiver Samaj Morgan. The 5'11 wideout delivering a blow. West Bloom up 21-7. That was the score at the half. Third quarter, Laker waves kept coming. Kenneth Jones, the third, with a 7-yard TD run. West Bloomfield shows why they're one of the best teams in the state, and they're calling it. They win it 33-21.
It feels good, you know. I mean, the scoreboard, that's nothing. We've been grinding all week in practice, but it could have been better. I feel like we're going to grind and bounce back next week.
Well, it's 2 hours and 15 minutes to drive from Caledonia to North Farmington High School. Lauren says he can make that in $1:45.
Yeah.
Fighting Scots hoping to take a 2-0 record home with them, but the Raiders of North Farmington, where our Matt Shepard once starred, would have something to say about that. Team must not have gotten the memo after this 80-yard rushing touchdown by quarterback Mason McKenzie, who took this one left and put the Fighting Scots on the board. They were up 7-0. So they find first blood in this one. And then McKenzie comes back. He'll use his arm this time to hit Justice Reed. This a 38-yard passing touchdown, still in the first. And all of a sudden, man, it's 28-0. All with his feet this time. McKenzie with another touchdown, this one from midfield. And this time he'll show off some moves to find his way to the end zone, sort of picking his way through some traffic. Caledonia up at that point 35-7. McKenzie and the Fighting Scots, too much for North Farmington on this night. They won it by a final of 68-14. The 2-0 Scots will face Jettison next week.
Well, I mean, Mason's obviously an explosive player, and I thought that play was going to be a give. I was actually shocked he pulled it, but, you know, you saw what he could do tonight with his feet and his arm, and felt like our players just looked fast and explosive, and that's what we're shooting for with our training. So it was a great night for the Scots here.
Hey, we're just getting started here on Football Fridays Overtime, powered by State Champs. We're going to take you all over the state. We're going to get you here and there, and coming up, we're going to get you up north to God's country for a game involving Boyne City and Sheboygan, and you will hear from the victorious coach. But when we come back, we're headed west. They opened a new stadium at Holland West Ottawa last night. Was it christened with a win? We'll share that in a moment as Football Fridays Overtime, powered by State Champs, rolls on here on Bally Sports.
Football Fridays Overtime, powered by State Champs, is brought to you by the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. And by Legacy Football, the #1 football development program in Michigan. Well, we had a matchup of West powerhouses getting together when Muskegon Mona Shores traveled to #17 Rockford last night. Besides a run between 24 and 2019, historically, these two don't play very much. Sailors came out smoking hot, led 20-7 halfway through the third, adding into when Canaan Farnham jet sweep. They're up 27-7 in the third. Somebody forgot to tell the Rams the game was over after a safety from a poorly snapped punt. Rockford on the comeback trail. 21-yard touchdown scamper by Mac Vanderhout. 2-point conversion is good. Rams down 10. Next possession, Vanderhout doing it with his arm as well. 26-yard touchdown pass to fellow senior Alex McLean. Rams down just 3. Now, after another defensive stop, Rockford's offense back on the field. Vanderhout getting it done, son. The dime down the middle of the field, 59-yard touchdown to fellow senior Brody Thompson. Rams take the lead with 4 minutes left. Sailors stunned and could not retort. Rockford wins it 31-27. The Mac attack, Mac Vanderhout, 249 yards passing, 3 touchdowns in the air, another on the ground. Tell us how you feeling, Big Mac.
I mean, something clicked. We obviously were down at halftime. We needed to make an adjustment. It took our coach just to get us all together and say, hey, we got to go. Our defense is playing lights out, and if we don't go, bad things can happen. And we know what, we fought hard. They fought hard. A tremendous game. I'm glad that the first half happened so we could have a little bit of adversity just so we can get some fight back.
You know, the Rams nearly beat Grand Blanc in last year's regional, Sean. Semifinals appearance in 2020. Rams rocking to start 2022.
Did you say they could not retort?
That's right.
They could not retort. That's a new one here.
Thank you.
One of the things we love about high school football is tradition. And at Holland West Ottawa, they had played at Panther Stadium since 1960. That's a Keating ago.
Right.
That's almost a Keating ago. But all those games have been at the site of their former high school, which is now a middle school. And last night, Holland West Ottawa opened a gleaming new $20 million facility. It becomes the largest capacity football field on the lakeshore, and the ability to seat 6,500 folks there. And all the seats were filled last night as they hosted Portage Northern. Coach Pat Collins had his Panthers. Man, they were ready to play.
This place will set the history and trajectory of this program. Don't put the pressure on you. Get out and have fun, like Coach Bede said. Okay, answer that tonight. Every one of you play a huge role tonight. I don't care where you are. And I want to see it. I want to see us hunting. I want to see us establishing our how and why we come out and do this. Okay, let's go. Bring it in, bring it in, bring it in.
Yeah, Coach fired up as well. Cole Tulgetski gave them something to celebrate early. He hooked up with Alan Payne Jr. for an 8-yard toe-tapping touchdown pass here. The Huskies of Portage Northern, there you go. There's the toe tapper. The Huskies of Portage Northern had a quick response. Caden Matt clicked with Jaden Walker down the sideline, and he will scamper 66 yards on the throw and catch, and that made it 7 apiece. But West Ottawa took the lead for keeps here. It is Tulgetski over the top to Mac Harrison. He was left alone. He rumbled in. West Ottawa wins at 21-10. They've won the first 2 games of the season after having lost 25 straight times. What a win it was last night.
I want to give a shout out also to this whole coaching staff. I mean, they came here, we were the bottom, and it just feels good to be brought up. I mean, 2-0 and we're not stopping, and this coaching staff has just brought great things for everyone here and everyone around us. So my emotions, I'm spinning. I mean, it's pretty unbelievable. 0-9, 2-0. I mean, I really can't thank these coaches enough for coming here.
48 miles northeast of Holland is the town of Cedar Springs. The hometown Redhawks of the OK Gold Conference hosting the Ducks from Zeeland West of the OK Green. 2 teams that basically mirror each other with their wing T offense. To the field we go. Ducks got it started early. This is going to be a 49-yard touchdown run. When it comes, you're going to see it. You're not going to believe it. You won't believe it. It's totally worth the wait. There they are running out. There are your Ducks. And here it comes. 49-yard catch or run by junior Rolando Roebland. Gets into the end zone. The 2-pointer was no good. Zeeland West up 8-0 in the first quarter. But just a few minutes later, the Ducks would strike again. This time it's the junior Parker Holman. 32-yard scamper up the gut. That made it 14-0. That would not be the last time we say Parker Holman's name. How about another 58 yards off the left side? Second rushing touchdown in the quarter. The Ducks lead ballooning to 20-zip. Holman, one more time, going to do it with a 28-yarder up the middle in the fourth. After the 2-point conversion, they were up 28-0. Zeeland West pitching a shutout. They win 28-0. They are 2-0, and they'll take on their rivals, Zeeland East, next week.
All right, all that on the west side of the state. We're going to bring it closer to home. Coming up next, it was rivalry night in Wall Lake last night. See how Western and Northern played out, plus a great finish between Country Day and Parma Western. That's as we continue on a Friday night here on Bally Sports.
Did
Here we go. We're absolutely flying through more highlights to Orchard Lake, where St. Mary's was hosting Hudsonville last night. The Eaglets against the Eagles, and the visitors from the west side got an early touchdown here from Trey Carr to Eli Vanderveen. Carr threw for just a shade under 200 yards in the game, but the Eaglets found their way to victory, pulling away as Brandon Ledden connected on a 27-yard touchdown hookup with Duke Coates in the fourth quarter. Orchard Lake St. Mary's picked up win 1 this season. 23-14 was the final.
One thing we wanted to really focus on this week was our running game and just being more efficient in the running game. And I think that helped us out a lot this game to open up more things in the passing game for us. So it was a good combination we was able to do with the run and pass today. Definitely got to keep fine-tuning it, but I like where we had it as a team. I thought our O coordinator and D coordinator did a good job putting the game plan together on both sides of the ball. So.
You know, it's tradition. For every first home game of the season, Detroit Country Day wears special light blue jerseys to honor Sam Greenewald, who passed away 8 years ago. Big part of the DCD community, looking like the newly minted Big Ten-bound UCLA Bruins, huh? Harper and Western, though, got things started in the first quarter. Junior running back Mitchell Williams had 55 yards. That put the Panthers up. Then Detroit Country Day struck back later in the first. Gabe Winovich, he rushed for 70 yards. Broke free here, tying the game at 7. We're going to move into the second quarter and back to Western's Williams. He is going to take this one up the middle, bouncing it outside. Pay dirt, 14-7 Panthers. We're going to go ahead and jump ahead to the fourth. Country Days, Graham Doman. He's going to follow his blockers into the end zone. Game knotted at 14. Let's go to the final minute. Yellow Jackets with the ball and resolute. Quarterback Chase Dawkins going deep. The senior, Gabe Zeldis, 60 yards, 33 seconds left. That would be your game winner. Detroit Country Day takes down Parma Western, 21-14.
I think it was just really great. It just, even in the locker room, you just so much like positivity and just so much like just great team energy that you love to see that I haven't honestly seen in past years. Even our state championship team wasn't quite like that. And I think it's just awesome to see how close everyone is and just how much trust everybody has in each other. And I thought that was great.
You and I have seen our share of high school football seasons, and part of the beauty of a show like this one, Football Fridays Overtime, powered by state champs, is that we're able to see the development of kids as they make their way from their sophomore and junior and senior years, and then perhaps they start beginning to get some peaks from colleges and then take off from there. We have seen lots of football players in the state of Michigan go on to have very nice pro careers. One of those names to keep an eye on, perhaps, is Darius Taylor. Last week, he announced himself to the entire state of Michigan, and this doesn't even sound real, Lauren. 345 yards rushing. He had six touchdowns on the road against a South Lyon team that made it all the way to the Division I semifinals a year ago. We're told that he's a Mr. Football candidate.
Oh, yeah.
What would his follow-up performance be here?
Well, John, on rivalry night, it's always personal, and you know the kids on the opposite sideline, they're your friends. Maybe you grew up with them, and you knew Darius domination could take center stage. Again, Warriors and Walled Lake Northern from Thursday night picked this game in the second quarter. Taylor got the scoring started, 5-yard rip, Warriors ahead 7-0. This was a low-scoring affair. Fast forward to the fourth, Northern trailing 10-zip. Knights Nathan Ray making a play. Long toss to Cameron Krebs. Krebs down the left sideline, and to La Casa, Northern down just 4. But the Warriors, Taylor, terrific. Too much. 185 yards on the day. Powers his way into the end zone. His second score. He recorded the final touchdown of the night. Walled Lake Western beats Walled Lake Northern 16-12.
All right, so much more as Football Fridays overtime continues. We're powered by State Champs, and we'll continue. Get a skosh.
Up.
Classic matchup next week, September 9th, as the Clarkston Wolves will head east to Rochester for a battle with the defending Division I state finalists, Rochester Adams. That's the Football Friday game of the week on Bally Sports Detroit. The Wolves and the Highlanders next week.
All right, let's get you to the PSL. Detroit Denby looking to go 2-0. Going to Detroit Edison to take on the Pioneers. Here we go, first quarter. Edison senior quarterback Mikhail McClure takes it down to the sideline for a 10-yard rushing touchdown. That put the Pioneers up 6-0. After another Edison touchdown, Denby trailing by 2 possessions early in the first. Quarterback Demetrius McCants quickly fires to Kenron Davis, a 40-yard touchdown. Denby now trailed 13-6. We jump ahead to the end of the second. Edison's McClure finds the end zone again with some help from his blockers. He'll race along the sideline, a 42-yard scamper. Going into the half, Edison led 38-6. Heading into the fourth, Denby refused to roll over. Senior Kenron Davis goes to battle with the defender, comes up with an amazing grab. It didn't change the outcome. Pioneers won it by a 46-12 final.
You know, I often, John, I get texts from coaches I've grown close to over the past 20 years covering high school football for state champs. And I'll tell you, it wasn't long after Redford Union knocked off the defending Division VII state champs, Pewaukee, Westphalia, 26-6. I got a text from Tim Hopkins, who is with the Union program. Let's just say there were lots of fire and fist bumps and explosion emojis littered throughout, and why not? That was an upset. He said Dearborn Heights Crestwood was on the clock. Let's find out how that one turned out. Union continuing their hot start. Let's just say they had a dominant effort tonight. We're going to start with an 8-yard touchdown pass from the senior quarterback, Corey Chavis. He's going to find his senior wideout, Kyron Ware. Redford Union up 6-0. Later in the first quarter, from only a few yards out, this time the senior running back, Javarius Shepard, plunging into the paint. Panthers took a 14-0 lead after the 2-point conversion. This one here, yeah, the dagger. Kyron Ware, again, this time, 34-yard touchdown pass from Corey Chavis. Redford Union continues its really hot start. They're going to start the season 2-0. They win this one 41-6 over Dearborn Heights Crestwood.
All right, it's already been a...
It felt great. We knew coming off of last week's huge victory, it was big for the program, but you can get caught up in that and everybody congratulating you and saying great job and you're going to do this, going to do that. So the main thing was keeping them focused and making them understand that this is a good, tough, young Crestwood team, and they showed that in the first half, you know, holding us to, I think it was 6 points or 14 points or whatever it was. So we had to tell them, look, you have to stay focused. Even though you're a good team, there's still a long way to go.
All right, it's been a memorable Friday here on Bally Sports, and with our help from our state champs colleagues. It began with the game in Oxford, the first chance they've had to play a football game since the tragic events in November, and they handled Birmingham Groves by a 17-14 final, rallying their way to victory. And so Football Friday's overtime here on Bally Sports, powered by State Champs, is all about scores and highlights and post-game reaction and certainly the emotion of the evening. And let's go from here in southeastern Michigan up north. They were once rivals in the Legends division in the state. They'd not been since 2019, so it was great to see Boyne City and Sheboygan back on each other's schedule. Sheboygan has not been to the postseason since 2013, as they've had to wade through a rugged schedule in recent years. Boyne City coming off back-to-back playoff years and a 9-2 record last fall. But as everybody knows, last fall doesn't matter. And if you are nestled right up against Lake Charlevoix in northern Michigan, you are this close to heaven. The first permanent settlers of the region were immigrants from Ireland who were reminded of home, and Boyne City was named after the Boyne River on the old sod. So tonight, a couple of up-northers doing battle. Let's head out to Boyne City, to BC, where they rattled off points like people catch bass up there, like they eat pasties up there. In the first quarter, Boyne City goes up 10-0. Gavin Hewitt takes Jack Neer's pass past the defense, a 20-yard score. The Ramblers would go up by 10 when Hewitt got the handoff outside and got past the defense. A rumble would go 85 yards to the house, or as they say up north, to the house. Boyne City's Connor Worthington would run 45 yards down to the 10 here. That was the big play in that drive. Three snaps later, it was a 10-point lead, and it was still a game 24-14. Sheboygan would strike back. Caden Gardner will find senior Keegan Mosher wide open for the 50-yard pass here. He'll be tackled at the 2. The Chiefs would knock it in from there. It was 31-20. Sheboygan made some more noise. They cut it to 3 when Dylan Balazovic runs up the middle for the 22-yard score. However, the Neer to Hewitt combo, that let everybody in Boyne City breathe. They could not be stopped. They hook up again, the 20-yard touchdown to make it 38-28. Boyne City would go on to win by a final score of 43-28. Bring in the winning coach from Boyne City, Dave Suttle, who joins us live now from way up north. We know that he was joining us because we saw that he was joining us on Twitter. They were very excited, Dave, that you were joining us from up north. It's good to be with you. What were your expectations going into the game tonight, and what did you see from your kids?
Kind of a lot of what the game turned out to be. We knew they were a big physical team that liked to run the ball, and it was going to give our defense a challenge. But we figured we could put them in some conflict and score some points by throwing the ball around. And our tailback there, Gavin, just played out of his mind tonight.
You two haven't seen each other for the last couple of years. As an up-north person, as an up-north football coach, how important do you think it is to have these two schools play each other on a more regular basis?
I think any of the times you can get any of these old rivalries back in, I think it keeps the Northern Michigan football blood healthy. We love playing all the rivalry games. It brings all the folks out of their houses and into the stadiums, and it's good for the community and the kids.
What was the community like after this one? You've got a sense as to what Boyne City football means to Boyne City?
Yeah, our community is behind our kids 100%. They always come out and support them. And tonight was no different. We were the only game in town. There's people from all over the county that come in to watch us, all the teams that we'll see later in the year. And it was good. You know, the kids back in school, everybody's excited for a 2022 year that should be pretty good.
Characterize, if you would, for me, what up north football is like. What's the sense of goals they have and the commitment that they have to football in northern Lower Michigan?
I think in northern Lower Michigan in particular, I think the teams have really strived to catch up with what's been going on downstate, and the excitement is getting there. I think on a regular basis, our Northern Michigan teams are competing more in the playoffs and making deeper runs. And I think that's the goal of all of Northern Michigan, to show everybody that we really do play good, solid, sound, fundamental football up in Northern Michigan.
Hey, congratulations on the win tonight. Always good to see the highlights from up there. Congratulations to your kids as well, and we really appreciate your time.
Hey, thank you guys.
All right, Dave Suttle, the victorious coach of Boyne City as they won tonight over Sheboygan. We head over to Warren Mott, where the Marauders took on Grosse Pointe North tonight. We'll have that and much more as we continue on high school football overtime, powered by State Champs and on Bally Sports. Football Fridays Overtime, powered by State Champs, is presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Think Ford first. By Alta Equipment Company, Michigan's #1 construction equipment provider with over 40 brands. And by the Lead Prep Academy, a postgraduate high school program for football and basketball student athletes.
Let's get back to the highlights, shall we? The Norsemen of Grosse Pointe North traveling to Warren yesterday to take on the Warren Mott Marauders. This game tied at 7 going into the third quarter. Mott Jr. Namarian Gilbert finds the end zone. It's a 25-yard scamper. Mott ahead 14-7. Under 11 minutes to go in the game. The Marauders junior John Grant muscling his way through a pack of Norsemen. 15-yard touchdown. That knotted the game at 14. 6 minutes left in the fourth. Grosse Pointe North sophomore Sebastian Rouse, pick 6. And he is going to go 6-6. 66 yards to the crib. Norsemen up 21-14. North plates this dish. This one, just some gravy. North senior Jaden Holyfield, the 12-yard score. Grosse Pointe North 2-0 as they get set to go at it in the MAC Gold. 28-14, your final.
There is still more to do as we continue on a Friday night. We'll share our game changer of the night ahead, and we'll remind you what's next on the schedule. That's the Football Fridays Overtime, powered by State Champs, continues in a moment. All right, welcome back as we continue, and it is a clear favorite. Our Southeast Michigan Ford Dealers game of the night was the game that was staged in northern Oakland County. Oxford welcoming Birmingham Groves, and there were lots and lots of emotions on the field. Tate Meir, the former captain, not there to be a part of the team, but certainly to be there in spirit. There was his family, his brother, his mom, all in attendance, and the student body. They could not have been more delighted to share in a group hug on this night. And their team found their way to victory, 17-10 over Birmingham Groves tonight.
And, John, every week we're going to have a segment we call the DMC Game Changer of the Night. Of course, showing some love to Oxford. The junior Jay Cady, the hero in their thrilling 17-14 victory, 45-yard field goal at the end of the half. That gave Oxford the 10-7 lead. And this interception right here late in the fourth quarter helped put the game away. Oxford beats Groves tonight 17-14. Jay Cady, the DMC Game Changer of the night.
All right, what a night it's been. We are through the first one of our Football Fridays Overtime, powered by our friends at State Champs. So cool to have you guys with us and our two networks together to present this.
You know, I appreciate that, John. This is fun, and this just makes sense. It's long overdue. We're combining resources. We're out there. We're getting all the highlights that we get, that you get, that we can get on the stream. I'll tell you what, it's going to be a great year, and really looking forward. I think the people are going to love this. And tell us how you think about this show, because
they're gonna love it. Yeah.
We're very excited to do it.
All right, next week our Football Fridays game of the week is another dandy, and they'll be revved up at Rochester Adams as Clarkston comes calling. We'll have that for you at 7:30 on Bally Sports Extra next Friday night, and then it's Football Fridays Overtime, powered by State Champs. We got a good cry-in around a football game. Well done, Oxford. Aside from the score there, what a game, what a night. For Lauren Plant and Johnny and Rob and Mickey and Natalie at Oxford and all of us at Bally Sports and at State Champs, I'm John Keating. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Good night.